What's up, YouTube? So we back with another tutorial, and today we're going to just focus on a faded beard, and this is going to be a more of a stretched out fade. You can see from this initial guideline where we're going with it. If you've seen like those beard fades where it's no back line and it's almost a goatee, faded to a goatee, that's what we're going for today. So I'm starting out putting my initial guideline. I comb through the beard, make sure I got it to its fullest state. You always want to, that was part of our prep work. So, I like to break any haircut down into 4 phases. So we comb through it, and then we're setting our guideline, and this is just getting us prepared to execute the fade on the beard. So, and I'm just balding out that top line because we will do a head shave on him. So it's going to blend nicely to that. And so for our second guideline technically, we're going lever open. And since we are doing a nice stretched out fade, don't be afraid to go a full inch on this guideline. And then we're going halfway open. And all we're doing is working our way back towards that initial guideline we put with the trimmer. And so we're in the middle of that panel, and then we work on our way back towards that initial bald line. And as we close it up, we go a little bit higher. And you see how I have my thumb with my left hand stretching the skin, and it's helping me comb through the hair easier and cut through the hair easier with my clipper. And also take note of how I'm using my corners as I blend out this beard. We lay the clipper down flat when we put our guidelines in, and we use our corners when we fade. So now I'm just smoothing it down with the 1.5 guard, and you guys can tell he gets the same faded beard every week. So it's not too much of debulking, or even my guidelines, they're not so prominent because this is basically like a cleanup every week. So after we smooth it down with the 1.5 guard close, we come right back against the grain with the 1.5 guard close. And you see, I'm always fading back against the grain that the hair grows in. So you see when I comb it, it grows directionally towards his chin. So when I fade it, I'm going back against the grain that exact same direction. And now we have the half guard on there. We have it halfway open. And same thing applies. We were doing a full cut. I like to do the 2 guard system. And then I like to only use my levers at the halfway point or the close point if it's not fully open. I don't like to do the 2nd notch and the 4th notch. I like to just keep it real structured and routine. And we're just messing around with the lever a little bit, going from halfway to close, just to make sure if we see any dark spots, we fade those out. And now we're going to finish off back with what we started with, which is the lever open. And we're just going to tie everything together. And remember, we can always come back at the end after we do our outline, because that's how you'll see if it's any imperfections or any dark spots better after you do your outline and sharpen everything up. But as you can see, using the 2 guard system and trusting my process and using my corners, it's all coming together very nicely. So now we're going to smooth the beard down a little bit with the 1 guard. I want to keep this area dark as well, so it's like a whole transition. Sometimes you can accidentally take someone's mustache down too low, and just be mindful of that. And now this is actually like a spritz that I'm just wiping down on the beard. I'm going to go back over, I'm going to outline the beard with a shaving gel right here. You can see me place down, but it's pretty cool. Like the spritz helps it dry quickly. Once we do our initial guideline and with our razor, you'll see what I mean. So As we use our razor, we're stretching the skin and we're letting the razor do the work at its outermost edge. We want to make sure we're keeping it full as possible. We're gliding with a 30-degree angle to the outermost point where that beard can look full. And when you stretch the skin, it naturally helps you give that curve. I know some people like their beard line straight, but most people are going to have a natural curve to the outline of their beard. So when you stretch the skin, it actually helps promote that. And we also like to just clean up the extra hairs on the face while you're right here and comb through that initial outline that you put, because it's still extra hairs that you just cut off, that's hanging around on that outline. So you want to comb through it and then just go over it one more time. Yeah, and have your client help you out too. If it's areas that's hard to get in, have them blow a bubble or something. All these things help stretch the skin and help you not nick the client when you're getting in certain areas. So you can see how it's coming together. We're going to go ahead and line up the mustache as well as underneath the neck. And anytime I'm doing any type of trimming or cutting, you always want to just comb after you do it to remove the excess hairs and see the work that you're doing. And for the inside, he doesn't really line in the inside. He doesn't get nothing prominent, but also just clean it up a little bit. I just like to, because it just helps it look more presentable. Even though you're not going to put a full sharp line on there, it's okay to just clean it up some. We want to maintain the integrity of the mustache, keeping it full as possible. It's okay if it's not sharp, because you're going to go back with the razor. And before I do go back with my razor, I just put a little bit of shaving gel because I don't want to nick the client at all. So have them balm the lip so you can glide the razor easier. And I'm also still stretching the skin as well, which you can see with my left thumb. And for this part, as for the camera angle, I didn't lean the client back. And you don't have to always lean your client back, but sometimes if it's hard for you to get underneath there and do a nice line, a nice crisp line, you can always just put the hair rest on and lean the client back so you can see what you're lining up easier. That's just preference though at the end of the day. But the same thing applies to the bottom line. I would like to keep, first off, you always want to ask where do they prefer that bottom neckline to be. But I think where we placed it for him right now, it promotes the overall look. If we would have went too low, it could work, but I think that top line and that bottom line, it matches up. And now we're just cleaning up any free hairs that we see. We can always come back over this part, picking it out again and using shears. If you have curved shears that help you sculpt better, that's perfect for this type of situation on a beard. But those are basically our steps on achieving a faded beard like this. So now we're just tying it together, like I said, doing a little bit of detail work, just bringing it over the top, making sure the client leaves looking super clean. So if you like these type of tutorials, a real simple and straightforward to the point tutorial, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's grow together.